Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jesse with the Common Nerd giving you some news because the rumor mill is going a little wild today, and concerning some of the stuff that we've seen come out of there, some very reliable sources out there about Marvel making drastic cutbacks. This one should probably come not as a shock to anyone out there. The rumor right now is that Miss Marvel has been completely and totally cut from the future of Marvel projects out there. Yes, Iman Vellani's character, Miss Marvel, who premiered in the, of course, Disney Plus series Miss Marvel, which failed to resonate with the fans in any way or significant way in whatsoever because of the fact that the ratings were absolutely in the toilet, and prior to Secret Invasion was the lowest watched show on Disney Plus. And it's not really anybody involved in the, well, it's a lot of people involved in the movie, in the series' fault out there, but I certainly won't blame Iman Vellani or anybody like that. She's been nothing but sweet to the Marvel fans out there. But concerning the poor reception, concerning a lot of the cutbacks that we know we've seen and talked about over the past couple of weeks with everything that's going on inside of Marvel, it doesn't really should come as a shock whatsoever. But the fact that they erased her character completely is really not all that surprising, and honestly the fact that they haven't done it sooner is just one of the many problems that's been going on with Marvel for a very long time, for a while. But we're going to check out these rumors from thatparkplace.com, getting all of the juicy details of exactly what's going on with Daredevil Born Again, and why, of course, we do believe that she will end up being completely and totally erased from the series because of the new direction that this series has gone in, and that's something that we reported on the past forever. I actually do have a little bit of cautious optimism about the Daredevil series out there because of all of the rumors and a lot of the changes that have been made behind the scenes. But of course, at the end of the day, we'll only know if all of that ends up being true when the series comes out there, as well as this is to find out whether or not Miss Marvel will actually end up being in the Daredevil series, or if they are going to just completely and totally ignore her and erase her from all of the Marvel zeitgeist. So we're going to check out this article. Before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, because boys and girls, we're inching our way closer and closer to 1,300, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below if you were one of those ones out there that actually enjoyed Miss Marvel and you're sad to see her not show back up again in the future of Marvel products out there, or if this doesn't come as a surprise to you considering the poor reception of the show. Let us know what you think about all that down below. So, rumor from thatparkplace.com and our steered sweet John F. Trent. Marvel cut Iman Vellani's Miss Marvel from Daredevil Born Again. Dun, dun, dun. A rumor claims that Marvel Studios cut Iman Vellani's Miss Marvel from the upcoming Daredevil Born Again series. The X account Daredevil Updates reports Kamala Khan was reportedly considered to appear in Daredevil Born Again. However, her father, Yusuf Khan, will appear in the show instead. The account credits scooper Daniel RPK. And now Daniel RPK has been kind of a pretty reliable scooper in the past. He's not as accurate as people like WW Pro or some of the others that we've seen over there, but he does still generally have a pretty good hit for things. And honestly, it also a lot of times I do believe he is used by his Disney insiders as a sounding board to release things out there in the cultural zeitgeist to see what the reaction will be from fans and, of course, opposers alike. So we'll have to see what ends up happening with this one. But we do know that he appears in the little teaser trailer that they released for the Daredevil Born Again series out there that if you haven't seen, you can definitely go check that out. But it is something that was not released to the general public, but has obviously now been leaked online by a lot of people out there as well. So as reported by Matt McGloin over at CosmicBook.news, Kamala Khan's father, Yusuf Khan, played by Mohan Kapoor, does appear in the teaser trailer for Daredevil Born Again that was showcased at D23. And this is one of the things, Matt McGloin is another great resource for insider information. The guy goes to San Diego Comic-Con. He comes back normally with a lot of rumors. He's got a lot of friends out there that are willing to tell him stuff. And he's another one of those guys out there that has a very, very accurate track record when it comes to a lot of the leaks and stuff like that, which is why we pay attention when Matt or Pro, or in some cases even Daniel RPK, says things. That's why we report on them, so of course you can know what's coming down the road. McGlone also suspects that Miss Marvel was scrapped from the show as part of its massive overhaul that was announced last October. The Hollywood Reporter's Boris Kitt reported that the show was undergoing a significant reboot. Yeah, they're basically trying to come up with a new idea of some way to make this work, when we actually know that that's just an excuse for them to go, yeah, we're never going to do anything with this again. In fact, Marvel canned writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman, as well as the show's planned directors. They would bring in Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead to direct the series after the duo previously worked on Loki Season 2. Multiple episodes of Moon Knight. Dario Scardin, who worked on Punisher, yay, and Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan was brought in to run the series. Once again, some of the reasons why I have some cautious optimism for the Daredevil Born Again series. I mean, the guy that did Punisher, which was something that a lot of people really enjoyed out there, part of the Netflix stuff out there, absolutely is the right direction that Disney Marvel needs to go for these shows. And according to rumors, Kevin Feige's actual words were, make it like the Netflix series. So I guess we'll see what happens. McGlone noted that the original plan for Daredevil Born Again was to have the show more in line with how Daredevil was portrayed in She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, and Ms. Marvel. However, both of those shows failed to garner solid viewership numbers, and thus Kevin Feige decided to retool Daredevil Born Again to make it more in line with the popular Netflix series, and he fired the creatives behind the scenes. And that's one of the things that we heard about. They had basically said that even with the stuff that they'd shot right before, like the writer's strike and everything else, that everything just got completely and totally nuked, reworked, and completely and totally changed. And that would in line with some of the other rumors that we heard about Kevin Feige going in there and cleaning house and firing all of the producers that could be labeled as activists, i.e. all of the woke cult psychopaths out there. Like I said, all of this all lines up. Out went the goofy She-Hulk garbage, and we can guess Ms. Marvel along with it. It's also likely that the box office bomb that was the Marvels likely affected the decision to remove Ms. Marvel from the show as well. She didn't sell at the box office. She didn't sell on her own television show. Why would you want to bring her in to a series that you're hoping to turn things around and make it remind everybody of the good times that they all loved with the Netflix series out there? You're not going to want a glaring reminder of a series that failed and a character that simply does not resonate with the fans out there. In fact, Feige indicated that Marvel Studios might be distancing itself from a number of characters that it introduced in Phase 4 that did not perform well at the box office. In an interview with Gizmodo, he was asked if moviegoers were going to see a multitude of characters introduced in Phase 4 in the Avengers films. Obviously, Phase 4, this is the phase that has failed miserably and has cost Disney Marvel hundreds of billions of dollars at the box office and on their streaming services as well. Feige says, I rarely speak in absolutes like that. The notion of never ever seeing somebody again. We've got Tim Blake Nelson in a movie coming up next year, right? So I never talk in absolutes like that. But the truth is, we're going to tell a story in these Avengers movies, and there won't be room for 100,000 characters in it. So the choices will have to be made, that's for sure. But that doesn't mean you won't ever see anybody ever again, which of course is always going to be the throwaway marketing kind of line that you give this. Because like he said, he doesn't want to speak in absolutes. Disney never speaks in absolutes. What they do is it's quietly either leaked out to the rumor mill or some insider out there actually ends up speaking up their mind and saying something about it. And we end up finding out that these projects are canceled, much like what we found out with The Acolyte and Deadline reporting on the news. Why? Because Disney wanted that information put out there. That's the reason why it was put out there to somebody like Deadline and not somebody like one of the famous scoopers that we've talked about earlier out there. That's why we know this is what happens. But they will never come out and officially announce that, because if they do, it will make all the stands and all the weirdos out there and all the Disney pixie dusters absolutely lose their ever-loving mind, ladies and gentlemen, and have absolute meltdowns. And of course, that is with a bunch of PR and a bunch of bad press for the Walt Disney Company out there. But even as we saw with The Acolyte, that will not always stop them, because they still freaked out. I mean, there was even some very nasty things said about Kathleen Kennedy that honestly are worse than what we say about the woman over here on this channel, and that's saying something, boys and girls. So it looks like it's probably going to be in that exact same kind of situation with our dear sweet Iman Vellani and the Miss Marvel character that she portrayed. Like I said, I've got nothing against Iman Vellani. This girl is actually one of the smarter ones out there in Hollywood. She got some of the gotcha questions from the mainstream media, and she sidestepped them and did better than we've seen from the vast majority of Hollywood out there when these absolutely just disgusting media organizations out there, these legacy media organizations out there, try to bait these people into saying this kind of stuff and to make it to where they don't do that. And the smart ones like Iman Vellani and so many others out there sidestep those questions and figure out ways around them. They're much like a Henry Cavill kind of situation out there, or they just don't take any crap like Jenna Ortega and some of the rest of the people out there as well. That's the kind of thing we love to see. So shout out to Iman Vellani. I hope she has a very successful future in Hollywood, but it does look like, boys and girls, her time as Miss Marvel, other than probably maybe a brief 15th cameo in Secret Wars out there, which we know is going to be Kevin Feige's excuse to reset and get rid of a lot of the dead weight that he sees that is dragging Marvel down right now, because based on box office reception and actual numbers out there, this isn't rocket science, boys and girls. 2 + 2 still equals 4, no matter what the crazy woke weirdos out there on the internet try to scream about. That's the way things go. And unfortunately, Miss Marvel's dog did not hunt. And it looks like not only will she probably be erased, or she won't appear in the Daredevil series, but most likely we won't see much of her going forward ever again in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And honestly, boys and girls, it's probably for the best, because guess what? This is solely on the people who are responsible for writing this show that could have worked, but they decided instead concentrate on diversity, inclusion, and equity, and not good storytelling. After all, they get what they deserve.